Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Lord of the Rings Let's Play. If you'll remember last time we just traded the key to Bagan to Lobelia. So I guess we'll continue on with our journey and see what happens next. You see old Gaffer Gamgee wave at you as you pass by. Well, let's see what the Gaffer has to say. Have you heard of the Lost Kids? Can't say as I know much. They know more at the inn. Let's see about the lot. I don't know any more than you do about that. That seems kind of strange, considering he was the one that just told us about the kids, but let's see about the inn. The Hobbiton Inn. A couple of folks was saying that old Farmer Grubb was real upset. Maybe Freddy is missing. If he has any other news here. Taffy Proudfoot ran out of the Hobbiton Inn in tears. Poor child. I guess we'll go down to the inn and see if we can't find those lost kids that everyone's in such an uproar about. And usually, these sort of things will get us some rewards or items, weapons or something, so it might be worth our while. My dog has run away and I'm too lame to catch it. Please bring him back. Where did you see your dog? He was last seen in the western fields. I'd be grateful if you find him. Well, I guess this is another sort of those things I was talking about that could get us some sort of reward, so let's head out into the fields, and sure enough, here's the dog. Although he doesn't give us anything intelligible that we can use, so we'll have to try and find some other way that we can convince the dog to come with us. And if we use Sam Gamgee's charisma here, speaking in a low, soft tone, you persuade the dog that you are his friend. He accompanies you. Yeah, using the charisma, we can get the dog to follow us back to Anson's house. Dog is leaving the fellowship. Anson Goodbody is pleased to see his dog again. I have an old shovel if you'd like it. Also, I heard strange news. There are men in black horses at the Buckland Bridge, and they're asking about Baggins. If I was you, avoid the Buckland Bridge. Well, we've already heard a bit about the men in black from some of our other neighbors, so that's probably pretty sound advice. Your admiring gaze falls upon the chestnut trees of Hill Lane. Birds are singing. That's quite nice picture there. Sinister black smoke and foul stench comes from the mill yard. Nothing like this has been seen in the Shire before. That doesn't sound quite as nice. The mill is guarded by big folk with clubs. You realize you must be very quiet or they might wake up. Well, if we just sneak in, they're going to wake up and attack us, so we'll have to use Pippin's sneak skill here in order to get by them. You have come to a strange metal apparatus with dials and wheels. It appears to be controlled by pushing buttons and making evil noises. Do you push buttons? Of course. The machine starts to rattle and spit and make foul noises. The steam reminds you of Gandalf's fireworks. The men get up with a start, and you realize you should get away before they get you. Crawling through the window, you safely escape into the night. There's a lot of screaming behind you, drowned out by the roar of the huge engine as something explodes. Well, alright, we've successfully destroyed the evil machine that was spewing all that smoke and foul stench. Although, unfortunately, we don't get anything for doing that. You can often find elves in the southern woodlands of the Shire, making the journey to the havens of the Western Sea. Perhaps they might help you. The Green Dragon Tavern does not have as many patrons as usual. Well, this isn't the inn we were looking for. And neither is that. I think it was in that building here with all the rooms that we passed. Go inside. You spot a pretty hobbit lass with a tearful face at the bar. Well, let's see what's the matter with her. This is Daisy Proudfoot. You ask her what is wrong, and in a quivering voice she implores, "Me sister Taffy and her friend Freddy Grubb are lost in the East Woods. Oh, brave sirs, won't you please find 'em afore the wolves do? Take Taffy to Great Road Goods, and Freddy back to his father." Those must be the lost kids that the Gaffer was telling us about. And the East Woods are actually back on the other side of the mill, near Baggin, where we started. So we can head back there and hopefully we can find those missing kids. In the distance towards the east, you can see the bridge that leads to the East Woods. It seems to be we're on the right track. A child's sobbing echoes through the woods. A child's jacket flutters in front of a cave on the cliff face. Well, maybe we can climb down into the cave and we'll find that child in here. This cave is full of webs and stinks of good meat gone bad. And faint crying tells you that someone is alive in here. If you notice, it kind of did a noise that indicates the skill, like I don't know how to describe it, but basically it's the wrong command to use. But for some reason it does that with the climb, even though if I hadn't done that, I couldn't have climbed down into the cave. Alright, so here we've been attacked by a spider, and this will be our first fight. And since we don't have any ranged weapons equipped on the hobbits, we'll have to get close enough to the target that we can attack it. And if you'll notice now, next to the spider's name, there's a star, which basically means you'll see either a star or an exclamation mark. And a star means that we've damaged the target, and the exclamation mark now means that it's close to being killed. So we should just take one more good hit. There we go. Freddy is free from the spider, but badly wounded. He's doing his best not to sob, and is overjoyed to be with people who will help him get home. He joins your party. Several items are scattered nearby, including the bones of a dwarf that died trussed up like a roasting pig, an old axe, a star-shaped key, and a weather-worn scroll with legible dwarf runes in his hand. The scroll is readable. Well, we better take these with us, and we should have a look at that scroll before we head off. In Dwarven runes, the scroll reads, "Dear Bilbo, come visit us in Khazad-dûm, Balin." Well, Balin was one of the dwarves that traveled with our Uncle Bilbo to get the gold back from the dragon. You are on one side of a narrow chasm that seems to descend forever. We'll just jump over that real quick. But with a mighty leap, you jump across the chasm and land safely on the far side. He was one of the dwarves that traveled with Bilbo, our uncle, to reclaim the Lonely Mountain from Smaug. So hopefully that means that he's alive and well, and we can visit him at some point on our journey. Set into the stone is a slab with a star-shaped hole. We can probably use that key that we just picked up to open this door here. When you place the star key in the hole, there's a grinding noise. You can now pass safely through the portal. Carved in stone, a mighty robed king supports the roof with one hand and wields a sword with the other. Elven script surrounds a star-shaped hole, a star-shaped depression. The standing king wears a brilliant ruby on his breast. And in this instance, also, if you had tried to take all those items, you'd get attacked by the ghost, and he would have pretty easily killed everybody. So you have to actually use the star-shaped key again here. The statue stirs to a ghostly form. With echoing whispers, the spectre solemnly intones, "The shadow draws close, and oaths must be unbroken. I go to wait at the appointed place. Will you bear my legacy to the king?" Yeah. The spirit takes the gem from its chest and offers it to you, then points to unseen treasure at its feet. "Take what you need. We shall meet again at a time and place unlooked for." Then it becomes stone once again. Grab all this treasure. Might come in handy at some point. And there's nothing left to do in this cave, so we can exit it and look for the other missing child. Excuse me. A keen howl comes from the shadowed woods. Another howl, only closer, louder, and darkly ominous. Wolves sound hungry. Here's that other child we've been looking for. Taffy smiles and wipes away the tears. "Thank you for saving Freddy," she shouts, and agrees to follow you home. And luckily we managed to get away before the wolves actually came to attack us. One trick, if the wolf does attack you at this point, one trick you can use if you don't feel like fighting it, you can actually trade some of your rations to the wolves, and I guess that will appease its hunger and it will flee from the battle, so you won't have to fight it. But the wolves aren't too hard, so pretty much past this, it won't be too hard to deal with them if you get attacked by any wolves anywhere. To the south is Green Hill Country, a land of rolling hills and odd ruins, which sensibly most hobbits ignore. To the east is the Grange. If you've seen, I've been skipping over some of the text boxes. This is the Grange, home of the Grub family, but I've been skipping over some. And if I've done that, that means they've already popped up and I've read them. Freddy Grubb is leaving the Fellowship. Freddy, head bowed, skulks behind his father. His father scowls, then turns to thank you and give you a pony. The handy thing about having ponies is that they can actually carry more in their inventory than any of the other characters can, which is 10 items. Taffy is leaving the Fellowship. Taffy shouts, "Daddy!" and runs into Jolly Proudfoot's arms. Hiding a tear, Jolly hugs his daughter and offers you provisions for the long trip to Buckland. And we'll give all those rations to, well, I want to give one to Frodo, since he's taking some damage, so I'll go ahead and use that to heal him real quick. But I'm actually not sure how many items the pony can carry, because there's sort of this weird glitch where you can keep giving the pony items and he'll actually hold all of them. You can only access a limited number of them at a time, which is kind of weird. Anyways, I actually forgot to do something back on this side of the river, so I'm going to double back quickly and do that. That axe that we picked up, we can actually use that to get another member of our party here. Has anyone seen that fur-footed, thrice-cursed burglar? Bring me Baggins. We know that burglar was one of the names they gave to Bilbo, the dwarves he traveled with. I came seeking my lost uncle. Now weariness makes it difficult to search. Find him and his axe. He doesn't know anything about the axe, apparently. Baggins doesn't know anything about Baggins. Any news? Orcs, may they be cursed forever, have been seen near the borders of the Shire. Well, we can trade that axe we picked up from the cave to Druin. So all that was left was the axe. I feared my uncle had met an evil fate. For ending my quest, I will aid you in yours. I will join your fellowship. So we'll go ahead and equip the axe for Druin, in case we run into any orcs that he was saying were near the border of the Shire, or any other dangers around here. And now we can actually continue on our way, and we'll go ahead and travel down to the Green Hill Country and see if we can't find those elves that we heard about. Get another video clip here. Good thing that rider went away. We wouldn't have been able to deal with it if he hadn't. The rider straightens, mounts his black steed, and rides into the woods. You wonder what caused him to leave. Then you hear clear elven voices. The elves begin to sing, Gilthoniel, all Oberith, clear are thy eyes and bright thy breath. The elves continue to sing as you follow them back to their camp in the woods. We almost there. Fuck, are you serious? Alright, well, this sucks. Oh, okay. He actually is supposed to lead you to a different place. I thought the game had glitched or something and wouldn't be able to talk to him. Alright, we are safe here, though elves rarely give advice. Ask and I shall try and help you. There's little good news in these dark times. In your darkest hours, may Elbereth protect thee. And we actually picked up another word of power, since he talked about Elbereth. Let's see about the Black Riders. Shun them, they are servants of the enemy. In the end, you will know them better than I. And maybe he'll know something about Gandalf. That Gandalf should be late bodes ill. Leave without delay, but take friends that you can trust. You will need help. I think that's about all we can get out of him. Yeah, he was actually supposed to lead you back here, and I'm not sure why he didn't. You have a strange feeling that you are being watched. But anyways, good thing it didn't affect progress or anything in the game. A man steps out of the trees. He is a tall, handsome human, dressed in brown clothes that look travel-worn, though they have been recently washed. He has a rough demeanor, as though he has lived all of his life in the forest, even though he is rather handsome. It is unusual to see hobbits wandering alone in this part of the Shire, especially in such dangerous times. There are elves roaming this country, elves and far worse than elves. He notes your skeptical expression and takes a deep breath. You need protection on the road ahead. I can help you. I offer you my services. Do you accept this man into the fellowship? Well, it did say he was quite handsome, so I can't see any harm in letting a handsome guy join us. It's the ugly ones you gotta look out for, right? He bows and says, "My friends call me Hawkeye." Well, let's see what we got on Hawkeye. A sword and a bow. Any skills? Ranger lore and Numenorean lore. It seems this guy's a ranger. Oh, something leaps at you from the shadows. We got an orc here. It's best to let Hawkeye deal with this. The hobbits aren't probably enough to deal with an orc right now. So you can just get them out of range of... we can use Druin too. And if you'll notice, Hawkeye had a block option here, and Druin had a swing option here. Swing is an axe exclusive skill, and block is if you have a sword skill. Weapon skills give you different combat options, but we can touch more on that later. Hawkeye says, "I know a place where we can heal our wounds before the journey continues." He takes you to his cave. As you enter the cave, an alarmed expression comes on Hawkeye's face. Suddenly he shouts, "Run, now!" He draws his sword. "They're coming! Take the northwest passage and keep going." His words are cut short as he prepares for battle. Hawkeye is leaving the fellowship. And since he's preparing for battle, we can naturally take his weapons. Running, you hear Hawkeye cry out to Elbereth. There's a clash of swords and what sounds like a death scream. Then all is still, except for an intense feeling of evil. Well, that doesn't sound very good, so I guess we'd better get out of this cave as quickly as we can. There's a locked chest here. Well, as we know, we can trust Pippin to get into any chests that are locked. You open the chest. There is something gleaming inside, waiting to be taken. More rations. We'll give those all to the pony. Some silver pennies, a blade part, and a signet ring. And that's all we need in the cave, so we'll go ahead and exit. You emerge the cave after struggling through layers of dirt and rubble. The tiny opening collapses as you emerge, and you find that you cannot return to Hawkeye's cave that way again. Well, that's just as well, because there's actually nothing left in Hawkeye's cave that we need. And I think this will be a good place for us to close this episode, so I'll see you again in episode 3.